You must have read multiple stories during your childhood. The stories like the tortoise hare story, thirsty crow story, and cat monkey story used to be taught in the school to give you moral lessons. If you thought that these stories exist only in the books, then you are wrong. There are few state governments and prominent political leaders who are re-enacting these stories. Hi and welcome to TFI English, the national socio-political analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm your host Tejasvi Malhotra, and if you haven't subscribed to the TFI English channel yet, please hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon to receive all the latest updates. Coming back to the story in this video, I will tell you how the story of King and Monkey is being reenacted in the state of Maharashtra. Let's begin. Are you a political news junkie? Are you aware of what is going on in the state of Maharashtra? If yes, then you probably know that the state is witnessing a high-voltage drama in the aftermath of an ideological tussle between Eknath Shinde's camp and Uddhav Thackeray's camp. But there's one name which has been making rounds on news channels and social media quite frequently. He is making several vicious remarks. He is probably a prominent reason behind the revolt by the Shinde Shiv Sainiks. He is also the one whose continuous efforts and anarchist ideology has led the state to witness the murder of democracy. Well, I'm talking about Sanjay Raut. Have you read The Foolish Monkey and King story? There was a king who was very fond of monkeys and believed that they were as intelligent as human beings. One night, the monkey was protecting the king as a bodyguard while the former was asleep. The monkey had a sword in his hand. A fly started buzzing around the room and sat on the face of the king. The monkey hit the fly with the sword and the nose of the king was cut off. The king had to pay the price of his habit of unconditional trust. But why am I telling you this story? Well, that is because the political turmoil of Maharashtra is making me question whether the story is being reenacted by Shiv Sena leader Sanjay Raut and CM Uddhav Thackeray. If you deep dive into what is transpiring in the political corridors of the state, you'll find that both the leaders are doing nothing but reenacting the story. Here is the most interesting question. Who is the king and who is the monkey in Maharashtra political crisis? Well, if my brain serves me right, the actions taken by Sanjay Raut in the past few days are one of the primary reasons that Shiv Sena leaders were forced to create a faction of their own and merge with Eknath Shinde with better political acumen and same ideology. Moreover, adding insult to the injury are Raut's statements. The way he has been throwing tantrums and making statements during media interactions in the last few days is extremely shameful. The man, or monkey I would say, stooped to a new low when he called the rebel MLAs living corpses whose post-mortem is yet to be done. But it is nothing new, as Raut has been doing everything in his might to ensure the downfall of Shiv Sena. For those unaware, he was the one who played a prominent part in the formation of the unholy MVA alliance. While Sharad Pawar had a completely different ideology, he wasn't thinking of any alliance with Shiv Sena. Bala Sahib's Shiv Sena was too proud or too naive, I would say, to think about such a coalition. It was Sanjay Raut who persuaded the non-political supremo of Shiv Sena to get into the unholy alliance with parties that were poles apart in context of the ideology. The decline of Shiv Sena began the day it decided to align with the secular parties, ditching the Hindutva of party founder Bala Sahib Thackeray. From that day till today, Raut has been constantly involved in unholy activities. It is being widely reported that just before Shinde decided to change gears, he had held a meeting with Raut and Aditya Thackeray. Raut, whose hardline stance sometimes overshadowed Bala Sahib, decided to stay mum on the repeated insults made out to Bala Sahib Thackeray. Even when Sharad Pawar announced to not celebrate the legacy of Bala Sahib, there was no condemnation from either his son or Raut. Uddhav can be forgotten for being weak, but Raut cannot. As a senior member of the party, it should have been his responsibility to not let his leader's legacy die. So have you understood why Sanjay Raut is the monkey here and Uddhav Thackeray as the king? Statements after statements, moves after moves. Sanjay Raut kept shouting that Shiv Sena is not what it used to be, which indirectly paved the way for rebellion, as no one wants to be associated with a party like Shiv Sena that has become habituated to dismissing its principles and morals. Uddhav has been a mute spectator who gave Raut the real powers. Now brace yourself for the downfall of the MVA alliance soon.